The date is, or the time is 8:06 a.m. and I'm calling the meeting to order. Welcome to the March 24th, 2022 special meeting of the West Hartford Board of Assessors. My name is Terry Szymanski and I'm the acting chairperson of the Board of Assessors. The meeting is being conducted in a virtual format in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act, as amended by Public Act number 21-2, which authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings virtually. Members of the public can view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television at www.whctv.org and YouTube/WCTV5. The meeting is also being recorded for on-demand viewing and will be available on the town's website for at least 45 days. Since we're conducting this in a virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures before we begin. First, I ask all participants to mute your device when you're not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I'll call on you. If you are participating by audio only or I do not calling you and the debate is ending, then unmute your phone and let me know so that I can recognize you. Second, all speakers must make a good faith effort to state the person's name at the outset of each occasion that you're speaking. Third, all votes must be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. I'm going to proceed to the roll call right now. Let's see. I'll start with James Healy.
Yes, here. Good morning.
Good morning, Lance Houston. Is it Houston, Lance?
It is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, Lance Houston. Yes. Okay, Terry Michaud. And this is Terry Szymanski, and I'm present. Okay, so I think we have two items on the agenda, right, Joe? So you want to start that off? Jewish Community Foundation of Greater Hartford.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. And if I may just take a moment, I believe Terry Michaud has met Lance Houston. I'm not sure if James Healy has met Lance Houston. Lance is a new member of our board, James, and I once again am glad that I have Terry Michaud on the board, because otherwise I'm just surrounded by a bunch of lawyers. So this gives us some balance. I appreciate you lending your time this morning, and I don't believe these two files will take that much time. The special meeting was really called because the revaluation had usurped a lot of the energy out of the office, and some of this this payload got left behind. So we're catching up on this. These organizations that we will be talking about this morning have also filed petitions with the Board of Assessment Appeals, and there's nothing negative about that. They wanted to make sure that they preserve their rights of appeal in the event that this file was not acted on in a timely manner. The Board of Assessment Appeals will be finalizing their decisions on Monday, March 28th. So I don't perceive that as a problem, but they were cautionary and of course preserve their rights to appeal. With that, the first item on the agenda is the Jewish Historical Society of Greater Hartford. They have provided us with all of the requisite documents. They completed their quadrennial application. This is the first time. I'm not sure how we became aware of them. It appears that they have been around for quite a bit, and I can only credit our new employee who has a focus on personal property in West Hartford. So she's extremely good at data mining. They have also supplied us with their certification from the Department of Treasury. They have a 501c3 certification. And as discussed in some previous, with some previous agenda items, they're also considered a foundation. And From what I can tell, that basically allows anyone making contributions to that organization able to deduct those contributions on their federal tax return. Um, their primary purpose is to collect and preserve historical documents, disseminate whatever may relate to the history of the Jewish people in the greater Hartford area, and by such educational activities provide a better understanding and appreciation of the heritage of the Jewish people in this area and in the United States, and also to promote community awareness. Um, this organization is housed at under the roof at 333 Bloomfield Avenue in West Hartford. There are a number of other related organizations there. We'll talk about another one on our agenda later. I have looked at the form, and I don't know if you have any questions for me, but they're seeking the exemption under 1281(7), which is a charitable organization. I took the liberty of sending you a copy of the Connecticut General Statute 1281(7). I know most of you already have it, but I'm not sure whether or not Lance has got a copy of it in times past. This is one of the primary statutes that organizations seek shelter from the local property tax. And with that, that's all of the information I have on them, other than to say that they have completed their declaration of personal property for the October 1st, 2021 list, and the calculated assessment on their assets is $9,210. Because of the relationship that they have with the larger organization over there, which is the Greater Hartford Federation, the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford, I'm sure that there's some sharing of furniture, fixtures, and equipment at that location, albeit they do have their own private identity. And that is the scope of my presentation on the Jewish Historical Society.
Joe, this is Terry Szymanski speaking. Are these the two? So this is Jewish Historical Society, and then we're going to talk about the Jewish Community Foundation, and they're in the same location. Are they connected corporately at all that you're aware of?
Well, nothing in their documents
Yeah, I didn't
suggests
see anything.
that. And I also have the file for the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford in front of me. And unlike another file we dealt with in our last meeting, where they talked about subsidiaries of the parent entity, there's no references to that here. However, I think I did see something in their audited financial statements that talked about the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford. And
Okay, but that's
for whatever their purposes, I think they've just decided to have these purposes separately from the main organization.
yeah. Yeah, and so I think you said they've been around a while. They've been around a while, but they've never. And there's there going to be any sort of repercussion for not having filed all these years?
No, and we don't often, when we get an application like we did with the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford, there was no reference in any of their prior filings, and they filed every 4 years. Other than there is some allocations. For example, the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford indicated an allocation of $10,000 to the Jewish Historical Society of Greater Hartford, and also a $5,000 contribution for rent subversion. So I believe there's some symbiotic relationship between them, albeit they have their own separate identifications.
Yeah. And I think from what I read, this $9,210 is mostly like equipment, maybe some furniture, equipment, things like that.
Yeah, FF&E, furniture, fixtures, and equipment.
Yeah. I don't really have any other questions on it.
I don't
Anybody else?
see, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go.
Oftentimes I would have pause on some of the applications that come before us just to make sure that you're thoroughly informed. But I don't see anything here that gives me cause to pause about the accuracy of the application and what they're seeking here.
Right. Lance, any questions?
None at this time.
Terry? Michaud?
No.
James?
None from me, thanks.
Okay, so can I hear a motion to approve the application of the Jewish Historical Society for a property tax exemption? Anybody?
All right, this is James Healy. I so move.
Second?
Terry Michaud, second it.
Lance,
Thank you. Okay, great. Okay, all in favor? Let's do a voice vote, James.
Aye.
Lance?
Aye.
Terry Michaud?
Aye.
And this is Terry Samansky. I vote yes as well. So it looks like it's passed.
Okay.
Okay, great. The next item, Joe, is the Jewish Community Foundation of Greater Hartford.
All right. Let me just this one seems to be the primary arm for revenue in terms of the receipt of grants, etc. But before I get into that, we have all of the typical documents that we normally see when an exempt application comes before us. We have the M3 quadrennial application. We have the Department of Treasury certification that they're a 501c3 and that they're also a foundation. They provided their certificate of exemption from the state of Connecticut and a copy of their audited financial statements. Now, this morning, I know it was a last minute notice, but I was not sure. I couldn't find the email where I sent you the other documents maybe a week or so ago for this meeting. So I sent you the 990s this morning. I realized they're voluminous, but they have filed and we have them if necessary. The financial statements that were provided by Korn Resnick, I think is comprehensive, and it speaks to their activities relative to their finances. They filed a declaration of personal property. That is resulting with an assessment of $10,930. So here again, another organization that has, well, the property has been fully depreciated. The original cost of the property was about $218,000, $212,000 according to the declaration. So 30% of that gives us $15,680, $618. And 10% of that is 10,000, 70% of that is 10,930. But please forgive me. I left here last night at 11 o'clock. We've had from about 8 to 11 with the Board of Assessment Appeal decision. So I'm moving a little slow this morning. So we have all of the documents, and again, reverting back to their bylaws and the M3 application. Once again, they're seeking exemption under 1281(7) as a charitable organization, but their bylaws mentions religious and charitable. And of course, that's not a deal breaker here.
Right.
But I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Oftentimes there's a discussion with the board about where specifically are they trying to anchor themselves.
Joe, had they filed before?
No, uh, we have had an area in a property class where we really haven't had dedicated staff, in
Right.
all honesty. And so 2 years ago, we were able to have a position converted to a full-time assessment analyst. And this person's primary focus is on business personal property. So they do a lot of data mining, and they're finding things, particularly with the nonprofits, uh, information that we did not have in the past. So I think one of these, I can't remember which one, but one of these was around since 1998. And of course, now it's just coming to our attention. And I think part of the issue is that when you see the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford, you automatically make an assumption that everything under that roof is a tax exempt, is the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford. But as it turned out, uh, not everything over there was under the name of the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford. I know at one point in time there was a Dunkin' Donuts over there. And of course, we were aware of that because of the building permits and so forth that they had to take out. Albeit that didn't last too long, maybe a couple of years or so. But yes, they've been around for a long time, and we have now just become aware of it. But it may be a moot point as far as their applications go. It appears that, um, again, this is another. I don't see anything in it. If I did, I would certainly bring it to your attention. I don't see anything that would give me pause. They appear to be a fundraising arm,
Mhm.
and a repository for uh, the general activity of the Greater Hartford Jewish community at large. When you look at their purpose, they said to discover, collect. Wait a minute, I'm looking at the wrong one here.
That's the wrong one, yeah.
Well, they don't give us that. They refer us to the attached, and I believe I saw it in their bylaws. Bear with me one moment. Yeah, what do you know? Oh, here we go. The nature and the activities of the foundation to be conducted and the purposes to be carried out by the foundation are to engage in any lawful act or activity for which a corporation may be organized under the Connecticut Revised Non-Stock Corporation Act, to operate exclusively for religious, charitable, scientific, literary, and educational purposes within the meaning of 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code, and to promote and support activities that are consistent with the purposes, here we go, of the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford. They solicit and receive contributions, grants, bequests, devises, and any other transfers of property, real or personal, tangible or intangible, hold, invest, and reinvest, and manage and administer such monies or other property received, and make distributions for any proper purpose. So I guess they are a fundraising arm when I look at the size of their revenue, and then when I compare that against their expenses.
So
And,
don't they award grants, don't they?
they do, and let's see. They have issued $5.3 million in grants and distributions
Mhm.
for the calendar year reflected on their quadrennial application. Their gross income for the fiscal year was about 43 million, and their expenses were about 6.7 million. And as we all talked about in other matters, that they don't spend the money in one fiscal cycle. That doesn't necessarily suggest that they're not a tax exempt organization. And of course, there's plenty of case law in Connecticut on that. So I won't spend any time on that. I don't see anything here. That's all the information I have. I shared that information with you. If there was, again, anything that I saw that would give me pause about the purpose of the organization, I would have it ready. But it's a little
Yeah.
skinny.
Yeah, I didn't have anything. Anybody have any questions?
No.
No? Lance, you're good. Terry? Terry Michaud, anything? You might be on mute. We can't hear you.
Yeah, no, I have no questions.
Okay, great. So can I hear a motion to approve the application of the Jewish Community Foundation of Greater Hartford for property tax exemption on their personal property?
I so move.
Okay, second?
James Healy, second.
Okay, great. Okay, all in favor, I'll take a roll call. James,
Aye.
Lance,
Aye.
Terry, Michaud,
Aye.
and this is and that's it, right, Joe?
Yeah, that's the scope of the agenda for this meeting. And again, I have other files, but we can take those up at a meeting in the future. But these were fairly perfunctory, as I viewed them at least. So I wanted to get them out of the way and allow the Board of Assessment Appeals also to take their necessary action. And of course, they're going to in light of the Board of Assessors action, they will also approve the request by the applicant, each one of these organizations. And the Board of Assessors, just a point of information, has the authority under statute to make changes to the decision of the assessor or board of assessors. So they have the authority to do that. I've never had that experience in my 20 years here, but I'm just, sharing that information with you based upon some recent events like these particular two files here.
Right.
I thank you very much for your time this morning. That is the scope of information I have for you. Unless you have some general questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them.
I don't think so. So I guess if there's no objection, we can adjourn. Any objection?
No objection.
None?
Done.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank
We're
you,
adjourned.
everyone. I appreciate
you.
it. Bye-bye now.
Yeah, bye.
Joe, get some rest.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.